This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, back with another Black Thoughts, and I'm doing this one as soon as possible because I think partially to gloat. I'm gonna have to admit, part of me inside when I saw this news article, I kind of smiled inside. It was like, okay, yeah, I kind of said this was going to be happening, but mostly just because it's going to be a very interesting note in the history of gaming. And I want to give my thoughts on it. So Microsoft and Sony have announced that they're forming a partnership in which they're going to share innovations on technologies revolving around the use of Azure. Microsoft Azure is Microsoft's cloud service that they've been offering. A lot of major outlets use Microsoft Cloud in order to use for media, for their business infrastructures, things like that. It's no secret, and if you don't know this, it's not been a secret since 2013, that during the reshuffling of power in Microsoft, the current CEO, and I know I'm going to get his name wrong, so apologies, but Satya Nadella, he campaigned for that job with the express idea that two things that he wanted to take to, and apologies, I forgot to mute my phone, but two ideas that he wanted to implement were the restructuring of certain properties and divesting Microsoft of them. In particular, Nokia, which they had recently bought before he had come on board. He thought it was a bad idea for them to have that under their belt. And I feel like everybody now is going to be tweeting the hell out of me about this whole Microsoft thing. So the fact that my phone is going off like crazy is interesting to note. But anyway, he wanted to get rid of Nokia. He thought it was a bad business idea. And he thought that Microsoft didn't need to do that. He also thought that the Xbox brand was a bad business that they needed to get out of because the console hardware itself had not been generating funds. Sure, they were making money off the licenses, but he didn't think that the costs and the expenses they were incurring trying to compete with other console companies on a hardware level wasn't practical. And his idea was, if we're not going to blow them up, we're going to sell them. He actually floated the idea of selling Microsoft, and it's been said that people like Phil Spencer, who's currently in charge, fought tooth and nail against this. That's why you got the original restructure of the Microsoft gaming brand to what it is now. I believe they just call it Xbox Studios. I forget, please correct me if I'm wrong. And their whole drawback on the things that they were going to do originally with the Xbox One started to reshape and form itself. The campaigning behind the Xbox took a different turn, and Phil Spencer, tried to push the gaming thing as much as possible. So you have to think, since 2013, there's been pretty much an internal war over the Xbox brand because Nokia is no longer under Microsoft. Nokia was sold, and it's under another company because, again, he didn't think that it was worth Microsoft investing in something like that. And while Xbox is still under the Microsoft brand, you have to think it is not as gung-ho as it was when it first started. When they first started the Xbox, there were people out there who were kind of angry, for one, that Sega had got rid of them. So they were motivated to build this new brand. And you had some people who were uber competitive who felt like Sony kind of took their jobs from them by outdoing them. So they were kind of trying to like get back at Sony that way. And you know, it's just really funny that now that we moved to 2019, the mentality has changed. The mentality has actually changed a lot since the early 2000s when it came to gaming. If you ever really paid attention, especially over the last decade or so, the companies themselves have far gone away from all-out warfare. Yeah, there's some trolling bits here and there. The Sony thing back in 2013 with the shared gaming thing, that was probably the last big salvo, and it will probably be the last big salvo that you'll ever see, unless you get some new console company that's going to come in and feel like their whole marketing strategy is to like troll the fuck out of their competition and to hype themselves up. But you don't really get that. Have you really paid attention to what's going on in gaming? Like, the majority of the talk, the trolling, the anger, the angst, the quote-unquote warfare between these companies has been carried on by people who buy the consoles. People who grew up maybe playing one platform over the other and have this overall preference that becomes kind of insane, in my opinion, to where they want to attack each other and have these arguments over why such and such is better and why. I can have that argument with people, but when I'm having it, it's not really from a place of, well, because I like A, this is why I think A is better. It's more of, well, I may like one over the other, but I can see where one does something better. I've always said that Microsoft, I play on PlayStation 4 and PC. I prefer PlayStation 4 because I like their library. I think their library is very good. It has the types of games that cater to me more. I've never been a big shooter person. I like playing shooters, but it's never been my main thing. And I kind of like those, I like the action adventure stuff more, the Japanese centric kind of games a little bit more, things like that. PlayStation offers the diversity to me that I appreciate. I don't think Microsoft has as diverse or interesting as the library. I'm not saying they have bad games. It's just that what they offer within that is not my go-to thing. I've never been a huge fan of Halo. Gears has always been something that's interesting to me, but I never felt compelled to buy a console because of one particular thing that stood out to me. And it's nothing else really jumped at me that they offered on the exclusive level where I felt comfortable with getting PlayStation because of the exclusives and the fact that they'll have all the other stuff as well. So that's my argument. It's not that I think Microsoft's trash and that they're a horrible company and blah 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 and all that. I mean, stepping away from gaming in itself, I can make the argument that both Sony and Microsoft are horrible companies in some ways. We all can, that's how we can do with corporations, but that's not the point. The point is I prefer one product over the other because of what it offers for me. And that's fine. You feel like the Xbox offers more for you, just like I think Xbox Live has always been a better online infrastructure. And when you're someone who plays a lot of shooters and multiplayer gaming, you probably would want that platform more because of that. And the way that it had geared itself a lot to it, especially during the 360 era. That was the multiplayer platform for console gaming, to be quite honest, and that's fine. But the ire, the hate, the anger part has always just been about fandom, really. Even if you go back to a lot of the early console war things, beyond the Sega Nintendo thing, things never really got as heated as that. And that was just marketing departments going at it I'm sure if you think about it, Nintendo and Sega execs probably really didn't hate each other that much. And you see now with the relationship that Nintendo and Sega has, like, it's all about business at the end of the day for these companies. Whatever is going to be best for them and their bottom line is always going to shine through. So the heat, the passion, the anger and stuff like that, that all really resides in the consumers. It's these companies ain't tripping like that. So I don't understand why people perpetuate the console war thing. It's been dumb to me. And now you see this and people are losing their shit because, like, what the fuck? What's going on? It's like, no, this is kind of how things kind of are and were and always going to be. And I really wish whoever's tweeting me would stop tweeting me while I do this. But it's news, you know, and people get excited. Like, I'm not excited over this, but I do find this interesting. You know, the Azure platform has always been one of the strongest, if not the strongest, cloud services going. A lot of people, you know, revere it. And you have a company like Google who have their own internet service platform with Google Fiber that's now trying to get into games via the cloud service. And you know what? If gaming is going to go to cloud service streaming, Google is in the best position out of everybody because of fiber. Now, fiber's not everywhere and this infrastructure is not as massive. But if they can get the fiber itself into markets, that's an extra win for them because they have their own internet backbone to go with their service, their cloud service. Microsoft is a great cloud service, but they of course have to use other services to provide internet connection. So you're doing the cloud service through possibly Google Fiber. And I think this is their way of assuring that people will stick with the cloud service as Google tries to push themselves into other markets with this gaming service. It, to me, is the natural step in the evolution. And this is the part where I get to the gloating, I guess. It's the natural evolution that I've always foreseen for the Xbox brand once Nadella took over, was that they were going to just become a game software company and probably do the cloud thing because of this Azure thing. I always said that their main focus was not to continue the Xbox as a console when they came out with the ideas of, oh, you can use the cloud for this for Xbox One, and we have all these other things like TV and stuff like that. And people were flipping out and losing their shit because Microsoft was going this way. My whole thing was, this is probably going to be their last piece of hardware. Looking at how everything allied with how their leadership overall is aligned, and how the market has gone for them since they've been making the Xbox console, it made natural sense to kind of wean people slowly off of the platform itself, and eventually get to the point where, like, yeah, we'll sell the Xbox brand, but we're gonna have it everywhere. You see these things happening, especially within the last year. You know, putting Xbox Live on the Switch, making sure to let you know that, hey, Xbox Live is everywhere. It's on PC, it's on cell phones, you know, and things like that. The push to cloud stuff, talking about Azure more as a company. This has all been like funneling their Xbox ambitions to, like, yeah, we're gonna probably keep the brand, or we're gonna probably keep the gaming studio because we used to do that anyway. We used to be a PC gaming studio as well as like a software, you know, productivity software company. Now we have this cloud service, and now that people are finding ways to play games over cloud, we can distribute our games that way. We're trying to reestablish the Windows Store, and we put all of our Xbox exclusives on Windows so people can play them on PC. They've done nothing but give people ways to reach the Xbox brand. You can get an Xbox Live account on your PC, on your phone, on the Switch now, all this stuff. They want that brand to remain so they can sell games through their studio, but they don't necessarily want to do the console. I've been saying this since the original plan for the Xbox One. They don't want that hardware, really. They just want the brand to thrive. And that's the thing. They're going to maintain the brand. And you probably will start to see Xbox games on PlayStation 4, because for Sony, the platform of PlayStation, the console, has been a tremendous boon to their overall financial success as a company. Sony was flailing in a lot of areas when the PlayStation 4 was introduced. And the PlayStation 4, the way that it's sold, the way that they were able to engineer it so it can be a profitable console on top of, finding the success and popularity that they got off of it because of the stumbles that Microsoft did, it's kind of resurrected Sony as a company. And it's a financial backbone for Sony. So Sony's going to be a little slower to leave the hardware area. They're going to probably have, I would say, you're probably going to get 2 more consoles from Sony. And I think this partnership with Microsoft is helping them kind of segue a little bit away from hardware, or at least find other ways to utilize their hardware to where they won't have to manufacture things in a way that will cost them more, like help them with cost cutting things. This is what this whole last generation introduction has all been leading to, in my mind. And hey, again, this is the gloating part. I told you guys. I told you that things were going to probably go this way. A lot of people were like, no, whatever, this is a fight, this is a war, Microsoft's going to come back and all that. Microsoft's not trying to come back. I think with this, they want to make sure that this last console, if this is the last console, which I totally believe is the last console, I believe that the Xbox One would have been it had it been more successful. But because of the struggles, I think they're giving Phil Spencer one last go at it, let him kind of take it out with a bang type thing. But I think no matter which way it goes with the next Xbox console, the future of Microsoft and gaming is going to be on other platforms. Nintendo is a company that was created to do this gaming thing. They created the PlayStation extension of Sony to do the gaming platform thing. So that's their thing. Microsoft has never really done this. Even when you go back to the original inception of the Xbox, and this is something I mentioned before, the idea behind it from Bill Gates was always to build a platform for people to do multiple things, to make Microsoft like a hub for your gaming, your entertainment, be it TV, music, what have you, your productivity needs and stuff like that. He wanted to have kind of like what we're starting to get with all of these smart devices coming onto the market. He wanted to make your home similar to a smart home, a Microsoft's home, a Microsoft smart home. He wanted your Windows to be able to plug into your TV, to your stereo, to your DVD players and all of that, and you can play games from anywhere and stuff like that. This is what he's wanted, and now all of this is starting to culminate into what we are getting now from Microsoft. They finally found that lane to initiate this plan into full force, and gotta say, it's going to be very, very interesting to see, because Azure is a hell of a platform, and if they can get Sony on board, they're going to get Nintendo on board. Now Nintendo players will get a better internet structure, because I think they're courting him. Part of the reason why the whole building relationship with Xbox Live and all that, they're trying to court everybody to get on board with Azure, because Google's coming. Google's coming for their biggest platform, and they want to make sure that Google doesn't take it. Same thing with Apple with all the streaming thing. Apple and Google are taking the initiative straight out on the things that Microsoft was trying to ease everybody into. And now that they've come out, Microsoft's like, fuck it, let's double down and let's go get this. We're going to build our brand across other brands and we're going to partner with other companies that do things that Google aren't like as good at yet. Google's not a good gaming platform. Google has hired people to do this, but Microsoft has the people who have the relationships with all these other gaming companies already, who can establish a better bridge with Azure. This is Microsoft saying, fuck it. We didn't think we'll get here this way, but we're going to get where we want to get, you know, and we're going to do it the smart way. And this is where this is the gambit. This is, I guess you could say, their end game, you know, and I think this is their 1 in 14 million, was it 14 billion that Doctor Strange say, and I think it's that 1 in 14 billion that's going to work because it makes the most sense, at least from the business perspective for me. Sure, like as a fan of the Xbox console, you rage at the idea of there being no platform, but for them it makes sense. It makes total sense. And the games will still thrive and they'll still be alive. People have access to them. It's not like PC gaming is as expensive as it was. With this cloud streaming thing coming, it'll possibly be better. You know, we need internet infrastructure to get better in the United States, but you know, Azure has done very, very well with the cloud service, and they know how to manipulate it a lot, probably better than anybody else. You know, they understand cloud service very, very well. So hey, you know, it's very interesting and exciting news for me, and it also, again, told y'all, this is where they're leading their path down. But anyway, let me go get ready for work. So as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. It's your boy Blak Magazine. I'm out. Deuces.